talk Alabama football with Stephen M. Smith of Touchdown Alabama. Please join him on his show, The Way It Is, Fox 97.9, Mondays through Fridays, 2 to 4 Central Time. And, of course, subscribe to my YouTube channel where I bring on the very best bloggers, broadcasters, and writers across the country and industry of college football. And, Stephen, let's focus in on this Sugar Bowl game and put recruiting behind us. So the Clemson Tigers stand front and center for a third consecutive year. So let's hone in on a particular matchup that is going to be crucial. So the Alabama defensive front taking on this Clemson offensive line and not having to deal with Deshaun Watson this year. Kelly Bryant, a dual threat quarterback in the same mold, but would not as accomplished, not showing the playmaking ability of a Deshaun Watson. But I think they need to go after Kelly Bryant, understanding that they're dealing with a different backfield than they did with Wayne Gallman, who was a grinder, who was a workhorse, but didn't necessarily have the home run ability of Tavian Feaster and Travis Etienne. So they got to deal with a different element of running back while also, of course, dealing with Kelly Bryant.
Defensive line has got to get a push in this game, Mark. I go back to the Mississippi State matchup, the Auburn matchup. You rarely see an Alabama defensive front get pushed around, get bullied, get manhandled, especially when you bring up the talent Alabama's had in years past, the Terrence Codys, the Jonathan Allens, the Ashawn Robinsons, the Jaron Reeds. You know, you rarely see those type of guys get pushed off the football. And there were moments this year where Alabama simply got pushed off the football. And for Clemson, that has a very good offensive line. You mentioned, Kelly Bryant, not Deshaun Watson, but still a solid playmaker. Still somebody that could run the football with his legs, get off some good throws with his arm. They have a three-headed monster with Etienne, Feaster, and also Adam Choice. Throw his name in there. Those three combined, we're talking 26 rushing touchdowns. So for Daron Payne, Deshaun Hand, Raekwon Davis, Isaiah Buggs, pushing at the line of scrimmage, creating that penetration to stuff the run, allowing your linebackers to converge, make tackles. But that defensive front has got to affect Kelly Bryant. If not sack him, Mark. It needs to get your hands up, knock passes down, get in the passing lane, affect the passing lane. Knock him off his spot, flush him out of the pocket, force him to throw on the run. Just anything to make him feel uncomfortable in the pocket is what Nick Saban, Jeremy Pruitt, Tosh Lupoi, and this defensive staff has to do. Because when you look at Clemson, Dabo Swinney has done a fine job of being able to adjust. You look at last year's team, that the past 2 years with Deshaun Watson, this has been a high-octane offense. It's pass, big plays, chunk plays, creativity, escapability, evasiveness from Deshaun Watson, him being a magician on the field and you being able to score the football in bunches in a variety of ways. This year, it's run the football. It's take pressure off Kelly Bryant, but also use his playmaking ability and also play behind your defense when you have a fierce defensive front that has Cleveland Farrell, Austin Bryant, Dexter Lawrence, Christian Wilkins, but also add in the linebacking core Kendall Joseph and Dorian O'Daniel. So this year, a bit different than the recent 2 years, but Clemson offensively still has a lot of cards in play. And for an Alabama defensive front that, for the first time, teams aren't scared of Alabama's defensive front. And that's the craziest thing. At times you say Jonathan Allen and teams are jumping out their skin. Daron Payne and Reggie Ragland, Reuben Foster. Teams are scared, sick. You mentioned names like that. Nowadays it's like Daron Payne, they're all right, but they're not, grabbing me by the throat and commanding me to watch them, like they did, in years past. So this, Alabama defensive front has to have that push, has to have that dog in them to get off the field on third down and affect the quarterback. Now, the good thing about that is, Mark, is when not many people are paying much attention to you, you do have an opportunity to rise up and really get that focus back and say, hey, we're the bad boys for a reason. But for the first time, you're seeing an Alabama defense that's not attracting that fear because it has not consistently shown that ability to rush the passer and affect plays. Not necessarily a bad thing in the sense of talent, because it's hard to replace those guys like a Reuben Foster, like a Tim Williams, like a Jonathan Allen each and every year. But in this sense, this season, got to find a way to affect the entire Clemson offense.
Yeah, it's not like running backs and quarterbacks have had all sorts of space and been running down the throat of the Alabama defense this year. It just hasn't been as suffocating as it was 2015, 2016, and going way, way back till we can remember the start of the Nick Saban run in 2008, 2009, where you see an Arius Williams at Mississippi State put up a decent effort with Nick Fitzgerald running out of the backfield, and Darius Geis getting a little bit of room, and certainly Kerryon Johnson in the Auburn game, where the classic example from the past was Leonard Fournette, who was trampling everyone in sight. Then he throws up like 19 carries and 31 yards against Alabama, and had 2 or 3 games like that where he was just suffocated, didn't have a chance to get anything rolling downfield. And Alabama not quite at that level of dominance. And to extend upon your point of the Clemson offense, the offensive metrics speak to what you're saying. The offense isn't as explosive as it was with Deshaun Watson, Mike Williams, etc. But it's more efficient. The metrics say that the Clemson offense is more efficient. So you're not going to get those big over-the-top explosive plays, but they're moving the chains. And Deshaun Watson did throw, for all the great things that he did, threw 15 interceptions last year. And Kelly Bryant is not turning the ball over as much as Deshaun Watson. So it's a little more conservative approach, leaning on the defense, leaning on the special teams to get things done.
And that's what you have to do, especially if you want to be one of the elite teams in college football. You find different ways to win. Whether one year you have that quarterback, the next year run the football, play good defense, special teams. The coaches that want to ascend to be a part of an elite group in college football have to find different ways to win. Some days it's going to be pretty. Some days it's going to be god-awful. But you find a way to win a football game. And Dabo Swinney has done that, and now he's in a similar situation or another situation here against Alabama in the Sugar Bowl, where finding a way to win this football game. But from Alabama's standpoint, where Jeremy Pruitt and Nick Saban is concerned, find a way to limit this offense, get off the field on third down, and while you're on the field on third down, where Alabama's offense is concerned, is move the chains, take clock, and do what you do as Alabama is trying to find that balance.
And third down could be especially crucial in the red zone, where Alex Spence of Clemson is only 7 of 12 on field goals. They're very shaky in the kicking department. So if you get a red zone stop, you may actually be able to get off the field with no points scored. That's a distinct possibility for the Alabama defense going up against Clemson. And I'm sure Dabo Swinney is going to possibly lean towards some 4th and 2 type conversion attempts versus what he would have done in the past. All right, it's Alabama, it's Clemson, it's part 3, it's the trilogy. It's what we're waiting for at the Sugar Bowl, the national semifinal on New Year's Day. Talking Alabama football each and every week with Stephen M. Smith of Touchdown Alabama. Got to join him on Touchdown Alabama. Get all your recruiting updates right there. And, of course, prep for the Sugar Bowl, and, of course, Stephen's show Monday through Friday, the way it is, Fox 97.9, 2 to 4 Central Time. Stephen, we always appreciate the discussion. You have yourself a merry, merry, merry Christmas.
Thank you, Mark. And my man, you do the same. Appreciate it.